You can't get enough of doing this, you really can't. So yesterday was Z Flip launch day, and after having this for 24 hours, here's my 5 key takeaways from this. First off, number 1, I just love the design of this. It has this beautiful mirror finish to it that looks chic, posh, and also futuristic, and then you have this hinge mechanism that just feels so satisfying through the full range of motion. So I want to give Samsung some props here because hinges on electronics are hard. We've seen it with the Surface laptop, Lenovo Yoga laptop, and the Galaxy Fold, of course, and even with the Motorola Razr, which was known for its creaky, kind of floppy feel to the hinge. This doesn't have that, like it won't break. Adding to this build quality is, of course, the foldable glass. It's Samsung's ultra-thin proprietary kind of formula. It feels like it could withstand a little bit of pressure, more so than the others that have those plastic coatings. Yes, there is a crease in the middle, but when you're looking straight on at the device, it's not something you're gonna notice really at all. And it's not really an issue when you're scrolling through the device either. The Z Flip isn't IP rated for dust or water resistance, and Samsung's acknowledged this because it's more of a device that's focused on style than it is for durability. But as far as flips go, this is definitely the most durable flip that I've put my hands on. The one quibble I do have about design though is that tiny front screen. Whereas the Motorola Razr had kind of a full front screen, this is just a 1-inch little OLED touchscreen that really isn't going to give you much information. You can tap to see the time and date, which is perfectly useful, but when notifications come in, you can pretty much only see what kind of notification and not a lot of information about it. You can answer phone calls with a swipe or reject them, and you can kind of swipe through to see the notifications that you do have, but again, it's just the icon of the notification. You still have to open your phone to really interact with it in any real useful way. So the next big area is the cameras, and I'll just say right off the bat, the biggest concession that you're making between this and the S20 series is the missing third camera, which would be your telephoto lens. That means you have the ultra-wide angle lens and the wide angle for the main camera, and in my short comparisons between the digital zoom on this versus 2x zoom on the iPhone 11 Pro, for instance, there really wasn't a huge difference in the level of detail or quality that you were getting there. So it's a minor concession and one I'm more than happy to make, especially since these 2 cameras are actually the same 2 cameras that you're going to get on the S20 range. You also have Samsung's new feature Single Take, which allows you to shoot about 8 to 10 seconds of footage that then pulls out wide-angle shots, telephoto shots, black and white, portraits even, depending on what the AI sees and deems necessary for the shot. It's a fun, nice, easy way to get some cool content without having to think too much about it. The third thing that we're keeping a close eye on is battery life. I charged this to 100% yesterday at about 5 p.m. and since then, I've been playing around with it, taking pictures, calling Ubers, navigating with it, doing pretty much everything that you could do in a relatively busy day. Now it's 11 o'clock the next day and we're at about 30%. So if I continued to use it in a similar way, it might last a couple more hours and get pretty close to that 24-hour time frame. Of course, battery life changes slightly over time, so we're gonna have to keep testing this, but by all appearances, at first at least, it looks like we have a decent start. Next, we have performance, and so far, I have nothing but good things to report here. It's a Snapdragon 855 Plus with 8 gigs of RAM and 256 gigs of storage. I haven't ran into any lagging, any freezing, or any sort of issue with all the multitasking that I've been putting this through. And that's to be expected because the specs in here are just about on par with 2019 flagship devices. So think of this as something like the S10.5 maybe, that's just folded up into this form factor. You don't have that super smooth 120Hz refresh rate that we have on the screens of the Galaxy S20s or the 12 or 16 gigabytes of RAM that those offer, but it's gonna be really hard to tell a difference. Maybe when you're gaming, there might be some differences that you're gonna be able to tell, but again, this is a different kind of phone for a different kind of user, Samsung says, and it'll be more than capable of playing most games in a very usable way. And the last thing we have to talk about are those Z Flip specific experiences in the user interface. There's not a ton that's different here, but Samsung's added something called Flex Mode, which is where the phone recognizes when it's in anywhere between 90 degrees open and the full 180. Essentially what happens is, in the gallery for instance, the bottom half becomes something of a trackpad for you to scroll through your photos, while the top half shows you your photos. Same thing with the camera, where the bottom half becomes controls and the top half the viewfinder. So in conclusion, I don't want to give it back. I want to keep it, but I don't want to pay for it. It is still $1,400. I'm hooked on opening and closing my phone, and I don't want to give it up, even though I know I'll have to, even if only just for a little bit. But I am so looking forward to the future of devices like this that offer premium feel, looks, and capabilities, and they just close and open so beautifully. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, make sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, check out digitaltrends.com for more info on the Galaxy Z Flip, and please stay tuned for our full review on Z Flip.